Greetings, brothers and sisters. Um, Tonight is March 11th, 2025. It's currently 14 after 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in Atlanta. And we'll be continuing our UNI officers training, reviewing Message to the People, the Course of African Philosophy, authored by Right Excellent Marcus Mosiah Garvey. My name is Brother John Hargrove. I serve as president for Division 421 of the UNIA here in Atlanta, excuse me. We're not going to do the pledge tonight, but if everyone would, please come off mute and we'll open with our motto. One God.
One God.
One aim.
One aim.
One destiny.
One destiny.
Africa for the Africans.
Africa for the
Africans.
Those at home.
Those at home.
And those abroad.
And those abroad.
Okay. So if I remember correctly, and Dr. Kuda remind me, but I think we read lessons 18 and 19 last week. We were doing questions for lesson 18 and 19, and then we'll do reading for lesson 20 this evening. Is that correct, Dr. Kuda?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. Okay. So, any questions or comments before we get started? And I need to get some water, but I'll wait for now.
President John, go get you some water.
Yeah, we don't want to hear that raspy voice.
Give me 1 second.
Great Garvey Day to one and all.
Perfect Garvey Day to everyone.
Praise first, Black Power.
Praise first.
That's what I'm talking about. Always think ourselves perfect beings.
Yes.
You know, if you think yourself as a loser, I guarantee you'll succeed.
Most definitely.
We are perfect 9 ether beings.
Exactly, 9 ether beings. Don't forget, President Diane, about the black women nurses.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I haven't heard anything about that, and other people want to join as well.
There's a monthly meeting. I haven't heard when it's going to be yet, though. I need to find out. We were coordinating with the other divisions to just do one monthly meeting for the time being. So I need to reach out and see when that's going to be this month.
Okay.
Brother John?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm have some people coming in in the lobby. All right, we'll go ahead and get started.
Okay.
We got a lot of information to cover with these 2 lessons, and then we got to read a 3rd lesson. So we'll just start out. First question is just an open thought question. It's not answered in the book, but first question is, what previous lesson does this current lesson, lesson 18, build from? The lesson on commercial and industrial transactions. What previous lessons can we say build on lesson 18? And I really don't even remember what answer I have here. But it's just something for us to think about. There's no right or wrong.
Well, all of them correlate. Even when we went into lesson 13, dealing with the universe, and then going into communism, right? Because he broke down about communism. He also broke down about the difference of personalities. And then he's like, okay, now we can, with those characteristics and what has been learned, let's get in commercial and industrial transactions so we can build our communities.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. Sister Desiree, anyone else have any opinion or perspective? But again, no right or wrong. I think I know I know I got economy. What in the world? How much insurance premiums? Oh, yeah. So economy, just on the fact of economic state of life. Just Desiree, I agree with your answer better, and that's what this is about: is putting them together, putting the lessons together, making the connection between the lessons. But economy is an obvious one that we should observe as we read commerce and industry. All right. When it comes to business and industry, what two positions are there that we could have? What are the two options in regards to positions that we could have that Mr. Garvey mentioned? We could either be one, we could either be this, or we could be that.
Community or society?
On a larger scale, yes, but on an individual scale,
Followers or leaders?
in a sense, but from a commerce standpoint, how does that translate from a business?
Oh, consumers or producers?
Is that it? I was employer or employee or employer. But a consumer or producer could also apply. But this is a overview of commerce and industry, and Mr. Garvey is laying it out clear when it comes to big business, we are either going to be the employer of our people, of thousands of our people, or we're going to be an employee seeking employment from someone else. So it's our job to be the employer as a UNIA. Any questions or anything? If there's no questions, what are some types of commercial enterprises that Mr. Garvey mentioned or that we can think of today? This is getting in the difference between commerce and industry or commercial and industrial. What are some types of commercial enterprises that Mr. Garvey mentions in this lesson?
Grocery stores.
Mm-hmm.
He says lumber business.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that is. Ironmonger business, merchandise business, or dry good business, clothing business, tailoring business, retail and wholesale business.
Yes, absolutely. Sister Desiree, right on page 140. These are commercial enterprises. And one way of one way I distinguish commerce and industry would be raw goods versus refined goods. And refined goods would be a commercial, would be product that's on display. The clothing, the grocery, lumber. It's been refined. It's been through a process, as opposed to. But I think lumber could also be considered industrial when you talk about chopping down the tree, clearing out a field of trees, and we'll get into some more industrial stuff. So I don't want to say too much, but that's one of the distinctions that I've pulled away from commercial and industrial enterprises. Any questions on commercial enterprises? Okay, and what are some types of industrial enterprises?
Factories. He has farming down here, but farming I would think would also be industrial as well as commercial, right?
I would say farming would be industrial.
Industrial.
Yes,
Okay.
because you're
Farming.
pulling the raw product from the earth, and then by the time it gets to the grocery store, now it's commercial.
Manufacturing plants.
Manufacturing plants. That's all he had was farming and manufacturing plants.
But also industrial could be distribution, right? I think that could be under there, you know, distribution. Well, today, as far as literature, the major distribution companies, there's two of them in the country. One is black owned and the other one is white owned, and that's Ingram's. So distribution, because if somebody has something that you need, you know, you got to go through that company in order to get it because you can't get it anywhere else. Like sometimes even with Amazon, you know, dealing with now, you can get just about anything you want, probably everything you want on Amazon. You know, it's like a monopoly. And if you can't get it from somewhere else, you always have Amazon.
Yes, I could argue. I mean, I could see um, logistics is what I would consider that a form of industry, a modern form of industry. Um, but the key, well, one of the takeaways for me is just from the farming to grocery example, we need to control and understand the entire process. So we should be able to cultivate our farms, what's it called? Harvest our crops, transport our crops to Sister Desiree's point, to the final consumer, and also, own that process as well, own that grocery, own that market, that provides, the bundles of carrots or corn or whatever it may be, that we're growing at the farm. So I think those are two examples, just understanding the industry and commerce and that entire process. Any questions so far? Okay. So we know some examples. Most of the successful people in the world started with what, according to this lesson? What did Mr. Garvey say most successful people in the world start with? And what is it that many of us, have?
Our own.
Our own, but it's more specific.
uh,
Clothing and clothing.
No, most successful people, most success.
capital.
How much capital?
$10.
Yeah.
Is that right? $10?
No, it's not. It's not 10 specifically, but Dr. Kuda has it in the chat. Very little capital.
Very little capital. Yeah, small amount.
A small amount of capital. That's I guess that's verbatim. So, not having an abundance of funds should not be an excuse. And this lesson makes that very clear, when Garvey gives the example, of an individual having a small amount, purchasing something of value, selling that thing of value for a profit, using a small amount of that profit to eat, and continuing that process throughout the year so that you have more at the end of the year. So a small amount should not deter us from executing what we believe is a good idea and a profitable idea. So that's all we really need is a small amount of capital to get going, make a purchase that's of value, and rinse and repeat. What has been the fault of the Negro in business, according to Mr. Garvey? This goes to the previous question.
Has been his inability to appreciate starting a given point and climbing steadily, while other races have been willing to start from the bottom and climb up.
What does that mean to how do you interpret that, Sister Desiree?
Well, instead of you being grateful, showing gratitude for what you have, you want to go with the masses. And let me say, you want to, how to say, you want to eat lobster. You want to eat wealthy, or however they put it. All right, so you only got enough to get maybe a 99-cent burger, but you want to act as if taking away from your resources, like you got enough to pay for a filet mignon, and you don't, right? Because you want to keep up with the masses, you want to keep up with the norm, or you want to be something more than what you are, without showing gratitude for what you have and the hard work that you already put into what you're doing with just a little bit of what you have.
Yes. So yes, very clearly. Thank you, Sister Desiree. Excellently stated. I'll read it again from the text, page 142. The fault with the Negro in business, commercial or industrial, has been his inability to appreciate starting at a given point and climbing steadily. So all of us as officers, leaders, we should be, we have to push those types of initiatives, even if it's not, grand scale, $1 million profit. If it's a good idea, if it's good for the community, if it is of profit, let's push these ideas, and we have to push them consistently. Dr. Cootie, you got your hand up?
Yes, I would like to just add to that, President John, that there has been a move. We can't say we're still at that level. Since Garvey's time, there has been a shift that Black people have started with small capital, and we are seeing them in business, like I was sharing today on the WhatsApp platform that I created today. From the event that I attended over the weekend in Brooklyn, and that's not the first time I see small businesses led by, our people, by African people. And I think that our downfall now has shifted from, us not being able to start with small capital. We have come to the table to start with small capital. We have now done that. But as much as we start with small capital, our downfall now is that we price our products too high and we chase away customers by so doing. Like, for instance, the drink I bought at the event over the weekend, that small bottle that could go for $1.50 was sold to me for $10. So just buying 2 bottles for me and the lady who was sitting next to me cost me $20. So if you are 5 of you, you must pay $50 for a small bottle of drinks. And you'll find even our African attire is always very costly. Even doing our African hairstyles are always very costly. So we chase away our clientele, we chase away our customers, and our businesses don't flourish because we price our products too high to our own people. That's where we are stuck right now. But yes, we have whatever Garvey proposed to us, we have done. We have started with small capital. It is happening. We can't say we are not doing it. We are shying away from that. We are doing it. There's lots of small businesses, but where we are stuck is that we're pricing our products too high for our people. That's what I've noticed. And that's what's stopping us from production. You can't make more production when you are pricing your product so high, you won't get much clientele.
Yes, and I believe what Dr. Kuda is exactly right. And that goes back into greed. And that also goes back into capitalism. And that's, again, brothers and sisters still turning around and doing the same characteristics and attitude as the oppressor. Not being fair and not showing gratitude.
Yes. Yeah, I understand. Dr. Kuda, I hear what you're saying. Um, every case is different, so it's hard for me to give a general, uh, opinion. Yeah, I think it's so case by case. I can't really say one is right versus another in regards to the pursuit of profit. Um, but we as a people have to be realistic on, you know, the profit that we are seeking. To Dr. Kuda's point, a 100%. What's that? That's not 100%. That's almost 1,000%. That's over 500% markup of a dollar product. Paying $10 for that. So, is that something that we really have to do as a people to survive and to feed our families? Or, can we survive with $5 or $6, $7, whatever it may be? So that's what I would argue, Dr. Kuda, in regards to applying this lesson. From a business standpoint, we can't be so profit minded that we price out our customers and our people, because our people are our customers. Um, so from our side, and that's what makes it different for us as a UNIA. We do have a profitable arm, the African Communities League, but we have to be sensible. We can't. Yeah, we don't want to make our people, put our people in a financial situation just to be able to support our products in the movement.
Thank you for that, President John, because what I noticed at the event where I was this past weekend, some of the vendors there were not UNIA members. They were just vendors. So that makes a huge difference.
This
That,
is
yes, we are supporting Black businesses, but some of these vendors at our events are not UNIA members, and their prices are priced very high.
Yeah, that goes back to the capitalist mindset, the greed mindset. What does profit mean to each different business? Is 100% profit, is that good, or do you need 200, 300, 400% profit? But if we're not providing a superior product, um, I don't think it's right for us to ask for exorbitant prices. When it comes to basic products like water, clothing, and I think clothing can kind of be subjective because you can get into like luxury designer stuff, which based on fabric, it's not that expensive, but because it was made by this individual, now that value is reasonable. But um, yeah, we just got to be reasonable in regards to our business. Uh, any other questions, comments? That is a great point, Dr. Kuda, and we can go into that for
Yeah, I have a comment.
But
Okay,
one
so
second, one second, this is Desiree. Last thing is, this approach that we're talking about is our approach as a UNIA. And our approach as a division as well, how we handle business, carry out business, handle events, and price our products at events. Sister Desiree.
and also you can't blame the producer, right? Because as a consumer, you have to utilize your own intelligence as well. I'm not calling anybody ignorant or something like that, but if that was what you noticed, instead of spending, just because it's Black owned, doesn't mean that you are obligated to spend your dollar, because Marcus Garvey talks about that as well.
Yep.
about how to spend your dollar. You
Yes.
have to be, you spend your dollar economically wise, regardless of whether it's a black owned business or a white owned business or any race business.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah, we
sister.
want to be supportive of black owned businesses, but we have to keep in mind that we have to be intelligent when we become the consumer.
Yes, we can, you know, this is a long discussion. It's a deep discussion. I'm willing to continue it. We do need to be mindful of time. But yes, Sister Desiree is correct. And we've discussed this internally in regards to the race first, supporting Black first, which is always our goal and objective. Mr. Garvey does say in one of the previous lessons that we should not spend more for a product unless we have to, basically. So if you know, basically we have to be conscious of the funds that we are using and make sure we're getting the best price for our products, potentially regardless of where we're getting it from. Um, but yeah, it's difficult. Always want to be race first, support our people first, but sometimes we got to do what's economical. Questions, comments, thoughts on that? Okay. And like I said, we can talk about that all night. A good example that comes to my mind, well, probably not the best example, but an example would be Black Star Line, the ships. There weren't a lot of black-owned ship companies, so you gotta buy it from them. What happens, or ship producing companies for specifically, what happens to people who do not have commerce and industry? And why is the Negro failing economically? What happens to people who do not have commerce and industry?
Well, it says without commerce and industry, a people perish economically. The
Yes.
Negro is perishing because he has no economic system, no commerce and industry.
Yes. Absolutely. Um, so that kind of wraps up the first portion of this lesson and re-emphasizes the importance of that. We must develop commerce and industry for our people and as an organization. And even if that means we need to start small.
Yeah,
And
actually, one quick thing.
yes, Brother Moyama.
Okay, yes, sir. I just want to mention that Booker T, and I think actually even Nanny Helen Burroughs also had. I think she did 12 things the Negro must do, and Booker T had a set of lessons that every black businessman and black customer should do in order to um, and I guess what's the word I'm looking for, to cultivate business and better business practices,
Yes, sir.
so that we can't be going, oh, this is a black business, so I'm gonna look for the hookup, and somebody should give me double for, I don't ask it when I go to this store. Why do I ask it when, because it was a black store, or why should I expect this or expect that, so customers have a certain etiquette they should have, and the black businesses ought to not try to, like say, put somebody in a financial bind trying to support the business. So
Hmm.
there's certain relationships that we need to kind of look at. But there were others before us who actually addressed the same things. And whenever somebody get a chance, I see if I can pull it up and kind of send it to somebody just for future references.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And yeah, that's a difficult thing. We're gonna continue to talk about that, especially here in the United States. And as I said, as we said, as the mindset, the promotion of capitalism. So a lot of our people are into that, and there is some benefit and financial security to that. And Mr. Garvey even talks about, we'll talk about capitalism a little bit more later in this lesson. Um, but just our approach. We can't necessarily change how other people handle their business, but we can set that example as a UNIA that we will be fair when it comes to and we'll produce good products at a fair price. Okay, we'll continue. What does Garvey believe is the safest kind of government for persons of any or persons of individual initiative who desire to go into business under? So, what does Mr. Garvey say is the safest kind of government for an individual who has initiative and desires to go into business?
A democracy is the safest kind of government for persons of individual initiative who desire to go into business and live under, because it gives every man a chance to do business more safely.
Hmm. Um, how do we break that down?
Well, you already know. All right, all right. Even if you look at the Democrat and the Republican, one of the things that the Republican strives on altogether is, capitalism and how they do things. And one of the things that people come to the United States for is because it's supposed to be a democracy, but it's not really a democracy, it's capitalism. And so they say, well, hey, I can go to the United States, I can get me a business going, and and it's more lenient on the business adventure that I have. Just like in some states, you don't even have to pay for a business license. I know in California, you don't even have to have a building. You can actually have a business outside of your home.
Mhm.
So in the United States, following under what is supposed to be the democracy, it makes you safe to the point that you can actually get your business going how it's supposed to go. Even though some businesses reach how it reach, and then you still have the effects of capitalism, but with the democracy, it's supposedly to be a fair game
Yes.
and a safe game.
Yes. 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 It's supposed to be fair, supposed to be safe. As Mr. Garvey says on page 145, summarized the question. Democracy, therefore, is the kind of government that offers the individual the opportunity to rise from a laborer to the status of a capitalist or employer. And when you look at, a lot of our brothers and sisters, democracy and quote unquote capitalism has done that. Whether it's entertainment, we have several brothers and sisters in entertainment and sports that have risen, from obscurity, financial obscurity to be able to, to millions and millions of dollars, to even, professionals, thinking Robert F. Smith. What's the guy? I forgot the guy that had the Weather Channel. I forgot his name, but and there's what's his name? Byron Allen. Yeah, yeah. But those are some brothers and sisters I could think of. Oprah. But obviously there's Caucasian examples as well. Jeff Bezos. Um,
Elon Musk.
yeah, Elon Musk has multiplied his income, but he, from what I understand, he inherited some funds as well. Um, but yeah, the ability to multiply the resources that are given, even you could argue Donald Trump to some extent, he did inherit a few hundred, or hundreds of millions of dollars, but to turn it into billions, that's in other countries and cultures, in caste or class systems, the leadership is already determined based upon lineage. So if you're not in a certain family, then you're not, your ceiling of professionalism, you have a ceiling in regards to how much influence you'll have in that society or how much wealth you can obtain. Whereas to a democracy, and particularly capitalism, Mr. Garvey felt that it offered the opportunity for any individual. He mentioned a couple, to rise from the status of someone that's selling things on the corner in their cart, or to someone that, owns an enterprise. So, any questions or comments on that?
And that is so true. Like if you go to DC, there's a black-owned restaurant, and I remember when I first moved to DC, the brother used to sell dinners out the trunk of his car, and now he owns 2 restaurants in Maryland.
Yep. Yep. But yeah, that's this may be old school capitalism to an extent to some of our perspectives, but that ability to work hard, be dedicated, save up, um, you know, I don't like to say the American dream, but the American ideal of you can work and you can achieve what you want for some. So all right, but that's what Mr. Garvey felt. That was his opinion, and that's an opportunity he felt that we could take advantage of specifically. When we acquire property, what should we always make sure we get? I think I remember this. Like this is very straightforward.
Value from our money.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, you just make sure you get a good deal for the property. But that's the sentiment. That's the foundation. The next questions will further get into how we make sure we get a good value for property that we purchase. Next question: who regulates the property market? Who determines the value of property?
Real estate brokers or agents and the mortgaging and trust companies who take mortgages on properties.
Absolutely. So real estate agents and mortgage and trust company who take mortgage on property, according to Mr. Garvey. It can be argued in any economy, the customers and the market, determines the price of the house. So if people just say, "Hey, I'm not paying, $300,000 for that house," eventually, the price of that house will come down. But what Mr. Garvey encourages is real estate brokers or agents and mortgaging and trust company who take mortgage on the property are the ones that regulate the property market. Questions, comments so far? But yeah, I would say at the end of the day, the customer, whether people want to buy something or not at a certain price, that's an economic fundamental. As far as the Negro is concerned, what is the custom of real estate brokers and mortgaging companies? When Negroes are involved in buying and selling through real estate brokers and mortgaging companies, what's the custom?
To always been to sell them property at 1/4, 1/3, and sometimes 1/2, and other times 100% higher than the real value.
Yes. So basically, making sure if we're selling it, we don't get the value that it's worth, and if we're buying it, we pay more than the value that it's worth. Mr. Garvey said that was a common practice and custom in his time. We can argue whether that still applies. I think most of us would agree it does. Some of our people probably would say it doesn't, but that's something that we just have to be aware of. And the way to verify that is to understand the market, understand have real estate brokers and agents and mortgage and trust company. And I think he also mentioned. I thought he had mentioned another resource. Yeah, here we go. What 2 places should you go to in order to find the real value of a property? What 2 places should you go to find the real value of a property? So the first one was regulating the property market. And now we're talking about the real value of a property. I think I remember this.
Go to
Hold on, Sis Desiree. Sis Desiree, I know
yes.
you got it. Hold on, hold on. Does anybody else have it? Because you've been killing it. Officers. Dr. Kuda, I know you got it too. Go ahead, Dr. Kuda. Other officers, Sister Cecily, um, Attorney Motep, Brother James, you still learning.
Yes.
President, I'll be calling on y'all in the future questions. Dr. Kuda, I think you had this one. What two places should we go to in order to find the real value of a property?
To the official registry for record of titles and to the government registry, which the government registry, I think, is where our former international organizer, the Honorable Henrietta Vinton Davis, worked in, if I'm not mistaken. Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent answer. Official registry for record titles and government registry. I thought one of them was the bank for some reason. But those are the two places that we should go to in order to find the real value of a property. Any questions or comments so far? So we should know the real value. We should know the market, and we should make sure we're not paying too much or getting too little for something we buy or sell. Last slide on commerce and industry. How have the majority of Negroes in every country lost their property? What must we avoid in order to maintain our property? Sister Desiree has been killing it. Attorney Motep, you got this one?
Not readily.
Ah, all right, all right. Lady President, this we should know this one. Come on, Lady President, you do real estate. Not to put you on the spot. This is a fundamental in, I guess, any form of ownership. Yeah. Yeah. Not just home ownership, but any ownership in general. Somebody got something in the chat. Property tax. I have the majority of Negroes. In a sense. In a sense, but it's more fundamentals. Lady President?
No, I was trying to yeah, I'm driving. What'd you say to avoid losing your property?
Yeah, the question is how have the majority of Negroes in every country lost their property?
Well, it depends on how far back you want to go. That answer
Well,
to answer that question, but in a general sense, to avoid losing your property, um, you just have to make sure you pay your taxes in this country because even if you pay it off, you still have to pay your taxes.
yes.
I mean, upkeep your property and pay your taxes.
Yeah, yes. This is I'm pretty sure it's in the process of obtaining ownership, like mortgage, when you're paying mortgage and things. Let's
Right.
see.
But if you go way back, properties were stolen from black people left and right.
Yes, but
But I know that's not the answer you're looking for.
we just want to stay with the text, within the text. Mr. Garvey says being tricked to pay interest first and never paying on the real value of the loan. So, in a sense, it's basically pretty much not having money for all the additional expenses, interest, taxes, maintenance, unforeseen expenses, things like that. But not taking care of our, the real value of the loan, not getting to the point where we're paying money on the real value of the loan. We only we they take advantage, or we've been taken advantage of in the process of paying down interest. And once the interest is paid down, as Mr. Garvey explained in the lesson, the treatment between us and whoever is the owner of what we're purchasing changes because now they know we're paying on the real value of the product, and we're beginning to obtain ownership through those payments. Okay, any questions on that? Comments on that?
Yeah, so it's like not being prepared. And when you own property, the thing is, yeah, you go into the closing or whatever, and then, this is your mortgage payment. But in actuality, you're supposed to do two payments. One payment goes to the for the mortgage, and the other payment goes towards the interest.
Yes, yeah. Well, what Mr. Garvey was saying in this lesson specifically is being tricked into focusing on only the interest, and you're paying down the interest, but you never pay into any form of ownership. So
If I
being
may,
to pay interest first and never paying on the real value of the loan.
yeah, President John, I'm also into real estate, and I just want to add to what Sister Desiree just alluded to, that yes, that's called amortization. And if you can pay your mortgages, maybe a 30-year mortgage, you can pay it off in 15 years if you do the double system payment where you are paying your interest, but on the other hand, you still pay your regular
That was me.
installment,
Careful, watch your
you
face
know,
with that poor thing. Yeah.
where
Hold
you
on.
still pay your
Hold on.
regular installment of your mortgage, where there is also interest in that regular installment of your mortgage, but on the other side, you still pay the interest as well. So you're paying two things at once. So during Gavi's time, they were not giving the message clear, and it's sad that that is how the message was delivered. That just pay the interest and not giving the full information. It's like something that just happened to me recently when I did a piece of work for the United Kingdom. I did some consultancy work and from here in the US, and I charged the person maybe 2,000 US dollars, for writing a proposal for their care center in the UK. And now when I was trying to do my taxes, I think this is 2 years back, when I was trying to do my taxes, when I spoke to the gentleman from the IRS, or maybe it was a consultant, I don't quite remember. I was just thinking about it today, actually. And I'm like, when it's our brothers from the other mother side, they don't really, it's like when they tell you something, it's very intimidating. They don't give you the message in a manner for you to feel comfortable and do something. It's like intimidating. So the way that gentleman told me, you must put it on your taxes, it was like kind of scaring me. And I didn't know how to go about it. And I didn't even bother to put it on my taxes. Little did I know it would have actually worked in my favor had I done it. So had he told me that, look, ma'am, if you put it on your taxes, it can benefit you in such and such a way. And then I go and I pay so much money to 1-800 accountant for my business, because some consultant calls me from 1-800 accountant to tell me that, oh, Dr. Gordon Dudu, your business, in your first year of business, you could be leaving money on the table. And I'm like, look, I didn't do any business. He says it doesn't matter. In the first year, you could get some grace for receipts that are lost. It can add up to like 7,000. And I fell for the trick. I paid like 800 to 1-800 accountant, and they charge consultancy fee was like 3,000. And only to submit all my stuff, all my expenses, they came up to like 15,000. I didn't even get a cent back. I had to pay in like $200. So that kind of misleading of information, whereas You know, I understand during Gavi's time when he's saying, if they would, it was said, pay the interest. They didn't get the full information like we know now, like Sister Desiree has shared. That's what I've also learned now in the real estate course, that you can pay, two separate checks. One check paying for the interest, but on the other hand, you're paying the full bond, the full mortgage, where it's the installment together with the interest, the normal, but on the other hand, you're paying another check of the interest. So you could be cutting your mortgage by a whole half, when you're paying double like that. So I understand that there was miscommunication and it's done deliberately sometimes. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kuda. The general principle, and I don't want it to be overlooked. This is one of those things, one of those principles that was mentioned previously in the text. And Mr. Garvey talked about when we get into a situation where we have to pay interest, we basically enter into a situation of slavery. And that is the general principle that I take away is trying to avoid situations where we are bound to interest. Because again, interest isn't part of any value of what it is that we're trying to purchase. Interest simply goes to, it's simply a profit for another individual. So we want to avoid that as best as we can. Okay. But yeah, pay down your interest and start to pay the real value. And we can talk about that more from a financial sense and how paying down your interest and paying into your real value actually it can help in the long run because it keeps your interest from growing. So, all right. But what are examples? Oh shoot, I just showed the answer. What are examples of charitable institutions? And we could add to that list. What are examples of charitable institutions? All right, I guess since I showed it, nobody wants to share. Hospitals, home for the aged, homes for blinds, asylums, etc. So I'll ask that again from an internal standpoint. What are charitable institutions that we need in the UNIA?
Well, charitable institution that we need in EIA is education. As far as tutoring programs, one of the things that we definitely need is our own school system,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Being able to have our own school, whether it's for the fortunate or the unfortunate, we
Mm-hmm.
need that. We need our own hospitals, right?
Mm-hmm.
We need resources out there when it comes to counseling, when it comes to aid dealing with people with children. And I'm not just talking about mothers because you have single fathers out here as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? That are going through things and they need someone to go to and to also be helped with. Something else that we need in UNIA, we need shelters. We need to be able to have an area or a building or something, whether it's set up like a shelter that's safe and secure, that we don't have to deal with the homelessness. And I'm not talking about homeless that is out here utilizing drugs or alcoholism or something like that. I'm talking about you have brothers and sisters that are out here that really do not have a place to go, right?
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Sister Desiree. And everyone should know our preamble. The Universal Negro Improvement Association African Communities League is a social, humanitarian, charitable, educational, institutional, constructive, and expansive society. So, charitable is inherent in who it is that we are. So, again, officers, We must be considering the charitable programs that we wish to institute. In addition to that, as we go to our members and our brothers and sisters, and that's why it's a reciprocity. It's a relationship of reciprocity. As we have programs, as we have initiatives, as we have charitable institutions to address the needs of the community, now we can, I'm getting into the next question. Dr. Cootie, you got your hand up?
Thank you, President John, for reminding us of our preamble in answering this question. But I just wanted to add for Sister Desiree, you mentioned shelters. Let's not leave out, our youth who are caught up in these drugs, that are damaging our youth. They can still get out of it. So we do need those sober, what do you call them? Sober living,
Rehabilitation type.
yeah, we need that as well
Yes,
as
and
charitable.
yes, and that's why I like the et cetera on the end. Anytime we stop listing institutions or programs, we've limited ourselves. So even as Sis Desiree was mentioning the several programs, I was thinking something like the National Guard, survival or emergency response. We need that as well. Defense, we need that as well. As you said, education, youth, medical, psychological, but all of these programs and these programs are forms of charitable institutions. Any questions or comments on examples of charitable institutions?
Well, I could give you some examples, but they're not all black. Like Houses for Humanity, right? So what I used to volunteer for them. So what Houses for Humanity did, because of of they were doing a gentrification, and regular people like me come in there, don't have any carpentry skills, but we had some of the college students that actually were majoring in construction engineering, and they would direct us, and we would put plaster up, we would put the lights up or whatever. And because we actually built the house ourselves, it went down cheaper. Even though it was in the area where houses were going for over $600,000, our house would be like from 150 to maybe 250 to 150 to $200,000, and make it affordable. And then we worked along with NACA. NACA is a nonprofit organization, and they go based on whether you have a grant, if you are on Section 8, they can use that as your income. Or if you have been working on a job for the past 2 years, they can use that, and they can also put you in a home. Now, I'm not privy to all of the black-owned organizations that are doing it. I know at one time there was that football player that came into Atlanta, and he built them houses in Atlanta for single mothers so they can have. A long time ago, Jimmy Carter built houses affordable for people, and they did right now they do like a raffle. You can put your name on a raffle and do it. But Jimmy Carter, when he was doing it, and that's how Houses of Humanity came in, he was just giving people homes that he had built. He acquired some land, homes are built, and was giving people homes. So that is something as well. And don't forget about the people that have been incarcerated that also need to come into a safe environment, a safe house, so they can step back on their feet. And I know that by us having organizations within the organization, we can also work with the court systems, and the city will give us money because we are helping them, whether they have to do community service or they need a place to stay in order so they can finish probation or parole.
I understand, sister. That's very, very in depth. Next question I was going to ask, and I think let me see if it goes there. Uh,
I think she was talking about Habitat for Humanity.
Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah, Habitat for Humanity. Yeah, I said Houses for Humanity. Yeah,
Uh,
Habitat for Humanity.
sorry.
I call it houses because we were building the houses in DC, but yeah, Habitat for Humanity.
But yes, housing, trades, medical, psychological, education, youth, defense. All of these can be considered charitable institutions. And again, we should be thinking internal. What are the charitable institutions that we want for ourselves and for our people? And the next question is basically how we fund that. So, where should we give charity and who should we give charity to? But basically, how do we fund these institutions and programs that we have ideas for? Where should we give charity to? Where should we give charity? Who should we give charity to?
Our race.
Our race. In a sense, yes. Is it that simple? Charity begins at home, and your race is much nearer to you than a neighboring one. In regards to our charity, we must give to our charitable institutions. And again, we must be building these charitable institutions, as I was saying earlier, from a reciprocal relationship. As we have these institutions, leadership training, African Legion, Black Cross Nurses, youth program. I'm trying not to miss anybody out. Business programs, real estate, stocks, AI. If we have all of these programs and we're bringing this to the community, now we have a reason to ask, a better reason to ask for funds. Not to say that we don't have a reason in general, but it adds some legitimacy to where the funds are going and what we are doing with the funds as an organization. So part of that question of why aren't people giving to us, we have to ask, what are we providing to them for us to ask for funds from them. But charity begins at home. Why should we focus on race first in regards to charity? And charity begins at home, but why? Anybody know why
You
we
say
should?
why it started at home? It starts at home first. I don't know if that's the correct answer, but it starts at home
Yes, but
before you start
why?
to do anything.
Why do we start at home? Why do we focus on race first when it comes to charity? What's the deeper outside of just, let's just support ourselves, support each other? What is the long-term benefit of doing that?
Make sure we win than others.
In a sense, yes. Anybody know how Mr. Garvey worded this?
Well, it's the nearer to you, right?
It's beyond, it should be beyond that part of the text. I think this is where he's talking about casting down from
Confraternity.
one
Confraternity.
confraternity.
Well, for the next generation and such.
He said it's
Self-preservation,
it's
the next
closer to
generation.
you, right? And then the neighboring one. And that also goes in a reflection of you have to take care of your home first.
Yes, but why?
You got the answer right there.
I know, but I was waiting to figure it out, even though I'm showing it. Never allow him
Now,
or someone in our race to fail, because, and this goes to, for me, the concept of one God, one aim, one destiny. We're all in this together. There is no individual victories and losses. We either gonna win as a collective, or we're gonna continue to lose as a collective. Never allow him, our race, to fall. because as low down as he goes, he may ultimately pull you down with him. So if we don't provide charity for our people as low down as they could go, we as a race will end up going down with them. As high up as you can send him, he might ultimately pull you up with him. So that is a hope to Dr. Kuda's point in regards to the wealth and the amount of success that many of our people have today. Um, we see this as a good thing. We see this as a positive thing. It's better than a majority of our people, or masses of our people, or the same number of those people, instead of being wealthy, being without. So hopefully, and we do see that with the schools and charitable programs and initiatives. And as Sister Desiree talked about, coming back and purchasing houses. So it's a good thing and it helps the collective. The last sentence, which I've remember, charity race first. It is like casting bread upon the water to come back to you after many days. So we're doing a good thing. We're putting out good energy, good deeds, and at a time of need, it'll come back to us. These children that we've provided charity to for 10, 20 years. Now they're grown and they're able to, you know, um, purchase houses for the community, purchase businesses, and start these initiatives and defend the community and all of this, all that good stuff. So I think the last sentence best summarizes it. It's like casting bread upon the water to come back after many days. Any questions, comments? But this is
I just
why.
love that one. It just, oh my God, it's just full of so many good things. And when you were reading this, I could just hear Michelle Obama somewhere in there when she talks about how high and how low and so on.
Mhm.
I heard a bit of her in here. So sometimes some of these leaders, they actually do take from Gavi's works when they speak out there. But
Yes.
this is really a good one. Oh, wow. I
Yep.
like
So,
this.
so yes, we must continue. Again, this is about striving for a higher ideal, and us that are have reached that, and not necessarily we've reached the ideal, but have at least reached a level of awareness that it's a collective struggle. We have the I don't want to say burden, but we have that responsibility to do this charitable work and also support and encourage others that are doing this charitable work. Because again, we're not the only ones and we're not the first. So there are other brothers and sisters that are out there doing charitable work, and we must continue to encourage them as well. Okay, and with that, brothers and sisters here in Atlanta, we're working on a charitable program for April 5th. And we'll have more information on that soon, but it's continuation of our Black Family Day Coalition charitable programs. Um, so that'll be another opportunity for us to re-engage with the community and reintroduce our programs to the community. So we'll talk about that more as a body later. Why should we help to maintain charity? So we know who we should give charity to. We know why we should be race first in charity. We know examples of charitable institutions. Why should we help to maintain charity? And it goes to the last sentence in the previous answer. But yeah, we have to, as Garvey kind of speaks to this lesson, he re-emphasizes this charity concept. So what is he speaking to, brothers and sisters?
Because you never know that when, it may come a time where you need the charity.
Absolutely. Very straightforward. Uh, we may need charity someday. Charity should always be maintained for its own good, so just for the good of charity itself, to benefit those who may be unfortunate enough to need it. and the next person to need it may be you. So these are reasons as to a very good reason why we should maintain charity, why we should have race first in regards to charity, and who we should give charity to. So, any questions or comments on
I
charity,
wasn't gonna be there
commerce,
tonight.
and industry?
Yeah, I wanted to just briefly touch on what Sister Desiree was talking about with the Habitat for Humanity. I've always been fond of that program myself. I never got to volunteer with it, but back in my Jehovah Witness days, I was part of a group that actually built a Kingdom Hall in 3 days' time, and the marvel of being able to do that for one, and then to imagine, doing that for a brother or sister who needs a home, not only a sister or brother, but the family that needs a home, and to know that you're also learning skills yourself that you could use at home and helping, fix your own home up, as well as some of the other brothers and sisters participating may come back one day when you need a home and have skill sets needed to reciprocate the blessing, so it's never a waste when we serve, our own, and definitely has, that likelihood that it's going to come back to benefit on, different levels, the community as a whole, when, we contribute that way.
Yes, sir.
It just moves the spirit, a different kind of direction. And yeah, I appreciate that, those comments.
Yes, it's deep, as you say. It's spiritual to an extent, and it's something we got to practice. We can talk about it, we can read it, but charity is one of those things that we really got to. It's just like recruiting. We got to get out there and do it. We can't, necessarily just stay behind, in the comfort of our homes, and say we're doing the best that we can in regards to charity. So. I look forward to, as everyone should know, I am huge when it comes to charity. Sometimes people can say even a detriment. I'm willing to empty out the account. If it's for the right purpose in regards to charity. But I wouldn't be who I am if it wasn't for charitable institutions and charitable programs. So we got to make sure we look out for those in need and the next generation.
Well, I got a lot of ideas if anybody want to volunteer, because Habitat for Humanity is off the United States. Also, they need people to volunteer in reading partners, because during COVID, our children, because we don't have our own schools, reading partners, and that's an organization that's all through the United States. They need people to volunteer their time just for a little bit, just to help children to read, because the reading really fell back. I've done that as well, and you'd be surprised that you have second and third graders that don't even know their ABCs. It's really sad.
Yes, ma'am. I understand. Okay. We need to proceed. I think winning mankind by kindness was a short lesson. Uh, lesson 19, question 1. What has the ability to move the hearts of all men? Lesson 19. What has the ability to move the hearts of all men? We've gotten through
Touch
commerce
of kindness.
Kindness.
kindness. Yes, sir, Brother James. Touch of kindness. So that's the foundation of where we're going. Obviously, should be evident by the title of the lesson. Number 2, what does it cost for us to be sympathetic to other people's feelings?
Nothing.
Nothing. And what does that mean?
What does it mean? Nothing. I mean, that goes with character. That goes with let me see. Let's go back to what Marcus Garvey was talking about.
It don't cost us
It goes
anything.
back to Christ. Everything that he's doing goes back to everything he discussed in the book. It goes all back to there. Mainly your character, and you have to build that up, and not turn around and look for something in return. And if you made a wrong, make sure you do your best to make it right. You know, we're human. People make mistakes. I mean, just own up to it. Own yours. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
quite.
God.
Yes, quite simply, if someone had a loss of a loved one, for us to, express sincere condolences. If, someone lost their job or something, for us to say, to express, sincere sympathy, um, that it doesn't cost anything, so not only, so yeah, it don't cost anything for us to do that. So why not express that kindness? Why not express that the kindness? I think that's the only word I can think of. So it don't cost nothing for us to be kind, and there's no excuse for us not to be kind. Pretty much, we can't say you can't afford to be kind. All right, how should we win the world to us?
I hate that you gotta wait. If I knew you were
Lady President, your mic coming off mute. How should we win the world to us? I feel like it's evident. I'm looking. I need to look. Okay, yeah, gotcha. How should we win the world to us? It's not just kindness. This is
Extend
important.
a pleasant smile
What else?
or pleasant situation or good wishes.
You see nothing about a handshake?
Um, not I can't remember.
All right. Well, you going on memory. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. With a smile, with a hearty handshake, and with a glad welcome. So, um, being welcoming, being friendly, being kind. As we talk about recruiting, growing our numbers, this is a fundamental lesson for us to master. When we have programs, whether it's Malcolm X Day, Garvey Day, African Liberation Day, our agriculture program, 100-year celebration of Garvey Day, 100-year celebration of Garvey's speech, how are we interacting with our brothers and sisters? Are we, engaging with a smile? Are we introducing ourselves as officers of the organization? Are we welcoming brothers and sisters to be a part of that? What it is that we're doing, or are we standoffish? Are we too good to engage? Are we too analytical and too stoic to engage with the populace? So. Any questions or comments on how we should win the world to us? Okay. Going back to charity, where does the money come from for the UNIA to do charity? So we talked about charity and what was that? Fundraising or giving to charity, and why we should do charity, specifically from the UNIA standpoint. Once we have programs and institutions and officers and offices, and we want to do programs, where does that money come from? Hmm.
It comes from the charitable.
That a fund. We should have.
Yes, we got to know that one. That's an important one. Charitable fund. Heard Sister Cecily say that as well. So, any questions so far? And this is basically a directive that each division should have a charitable fund. And again, when it comes to recruiting or going out and asking our members for funds, and we even do this on our mass meetings, we should have programs that individuals can contribute to. I even want to have what's the word? Some form of a ticket where individuals can allocate their funds. If they want to give $100, they want to give 10 to the Legion, $50 to the Black Cross Nurses, and $40 to the building fund. Each of these initiatives are things that can be funded through a charitable fund. So we should have a charitable fund, and we do. We do have a charitable fund here at 421. So any questions, comments so far? Okay. Next question, and I don't even know if this one's in the book. I think it is. What is the name of the UNIA parent body charitable fund? What is our head leadership all organized, the UNIA for the world, all Africans at home and abroad? What is the name of that charitable fund?
The African
African
Redemption Fund.
African Redemption Fund. African Redemption Fund. Thank you, Brother Eric. I just saw that with a smile. Yes, African Redemption Fund. Any questions, comments on that? Everybody familiar with the African Redemption Fund?
Nope, I'm not. But I would like to know
me.
more about the African Redemption Fund. And you know what? I didn't see it in here, but yeah, I would like to know more about the African Redemption Fund.
Okay, we'll talk about that, Sister Desiree. That's a section in the Constitution. It's very straightforward, but we can touch on that. It's basically just a general charitable fund for the uplift of Africa, I believe specifically was the original writing. But we can look at that. It's a very short section in the Constitution.
Oh, let me ask you a question. So the African Redemption Fund,
Yes.
now, does every chapter have their own African Redemption Fund, or is that something universal through all the chapters? If you go into the ACLU website and you can contribute in that, or does each chapter have their own African Redemption Fund?
That's a great question. The direct answer is no. Each chapter or division has their own charitable fund. So they can consider that their own local African Redemption Fund, and they can, within their own authority, use a portion of that to fund the parent body African Redemption Fund. But to my knowledge, the structure of the African Redemption Fund is supposed to be a direct relationship with each member individually, where each member individually contributes directly to the African Redemption Fund.
Okay, so what is 421's charitable fund?
What do you mean? It's just 421 charitable fund.
All right, so you said that each chapter has their own charitable fund. So what's the name of 421's charitable fund?
That is the name, 421 charitable fund.
Oh, 421 charitable fund.
Yeah, it's nothing technical. And what I was saying is every division, I would argue, per message to the people, is directed to have a charitable fund. Because basically, I mean, we're being asked to have these charitable institutions, and how are we going to fund these charitable institutions outside of having a charitable fund for our division?
So do you have a Cashapp for the 421 charitable fund?
Our charitable fund we manage internally. So all funds that we receive come in through their normal channels. And if it's identified specifically as I want this to be a charity, or we manage that internally, how we divide our general fund from our charitable fund. So if
Well, I want to donate at least monthly to the charitable fund, right? Because you said like charity, and then as we look at in this, besides the dues, because I know my dues are paid up for the month, so now I need to start sending money monthly for the charitable fund. So we can work on that as well in the community.
Yes, we can work on that, Sister Desiree. We can talk about that at a later point.
Okay.
The main thing is member dues. So, say someone gave $20 and said, "Hey, I want this $20 to go toward a charitable fund." If we look in our records and we see that, this person is a member and they paid their joining fee, but their dues aren't paid up, we may internally say, instead of putting this $20 towards our charitable fund, we're going to put this $20 towards their membership dues. Does that make sense?
Sounds good. Just let me know. Yeah, so we can get that going. Yeah, because it's needed. It's a necessity. And then I know about the building and everything like that, and we can get that going as well. If everybody in 421 have their dues paid up, we need to be working towards other things that we need to accomplish within 421.
Yes, thank you, Sister. We need to proceed. We still got one more slide after this one. It's question 6. What is the purpose of the organization according to lesson 19? What is the purpose of the UNIA-ACL according to lesson 19? I don't even remember the answer to this one, so I need my book. I think I remember now. No, that's.
Let's see. Let's see. Let's see if I have it. When men will remember you for nothing else, they will remember you for the kindly deed, the touch of sympathy that seldom comes from others, which is the duty of every representative of the UNIA. Is that right?
Page 153.
Yeah, 153.
It should be more.
Should be more. Let the tender touch of kindness be everywhere, going from the UNIA to the people in the community.
Let me find it. One second. Something about helping.
Okay, for the purpose of helping the needy, the distressed, and to assist all members of the race who need help.
And does he say, like, does it end like that is the purpose of the organization?
So it said it has been these methods that the Catholic Church has won the hearts of the people by the charity of its sisterhood and priesthood, helping the sick and distressed and restoring them to health. When people have recovered from a bad condition,
No. It was up above that. In the first paragraph, he says, "Remember that the organization, and you read it, is for the purpose of helping the needy, the distressed, and to assist all members of the race who need help." And yeah, you continue this by this methods that the Catholic Church has won hearts, but encouraging charity. We should remember from our aims and objects to administer to and assist the needy. So charity is embedded and inherent in who we are as a UNIA and how we are to be effective as a UNIA is through charity. But the purpose, as Mr. Garvey said, of the organization is for helping the needy, the distressed, and to assist all members of the race who need help. Any questions on that?
As the old head says, you can't feed the people, you can't lead the people.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Okay. All right, we'll keep it there. It seems clear. We understand. Charity is important. We're not getting away from that, and I'm not going to let us get away from that. Once people have recovered from their bad condition, what will be the pillar on which the organization sits, according to Mr. Garvey? this takes a lot of work in my
It
experience.
says their gratitude.
Their gratitude, yes, yeah.
But I mean, coming if I could just comment on that real quick, eh, eh, people are grateful for like for the outcome. Like even as a Garveyite now, even in this 100-year span, like it's the outcome that we have. So, say for instance, the Garvey Day that we have. So
Mm.
last year it was a tight, like we didn't know if we were gonna have it or not, but we had it. So it was the outcome that make people promising. So it's just of the gratitude that they have by the commitment that we hold. So it's like the leadership that we hold, like being leaders. As long as we stay committed, as long as we keep up the engagement, they'll be grateful. Like, you know what? We gave up hope, but you didn't. Big ups to you. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So that's how I take that race.
Thank you, Sister Ebony. Yes, like I said, this is in my experience. I'm still young in this, so I'm still working to see this, but it takes a lot of work, a lot of charitable efforts, not just a few seasons, but years and years of putting in work before you'll start to see a little bit of the gratitude that I guess you looked for when you started. But that doesn't mean that if it doesn't look the way that you wanted it to look, that you stop. We have to keep working. We have to continue to be charitable, and we have to trust that gratitude will become evident at some point. But even if it doesn't, we still got to do the work. So charity, 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 and kindness. But charity is a form of kindness. We should understand. What should every division of the UNIA have in order to do charitable work?
A charitable fund.
Absolutely. So there we go. A charitable fund. So very clear, very straightforward. Mr. Garvey says this on page 153. So I don't know if this is in the Constitution or anything like that, but we should incorporate these in our local bylaws at the very least, and take this as a directive that each division should have a charitable fund specifically to carry out the charitable works of the division. If men remember you for nothing else, what will they remember you for? Or they will remember you for this. And I think Maya Angelou reworded this.
Your kindness.
Yes, they will remember you for your kindly deed, the touch of sympathy that seldom comes from others, which is the duty of every representative of the UNIA.
Absolutely. Um, Very straightforward. The kindly deed, the touch of sympathy, the seldom comes from others. So we must be kind. We must leave an impression of kindness with everyone that we encounter. If they remember nothing about us, they may not remember our name. They may not remember how tall we were or what we were wearing that day, but they should remember that, those UNIA people, those Garvey people, they were pretty cool. They were nice. They were friendly. And they were, they took care of us when we were in their presence. Last question. What is the duty of every member of the UNIA? What is the duty of every member of the UNIA, according to Mr. Garvey? This is
Is
important.
to be that pillar of kindness.
Be the pillar of kindness. I know something about being kind.
It says it says let the tender touch of kindness be everywhere, going from the UNIA to the people and community. When men will remember you for nothing else, they remember you for the kindly deed. Oh, well, as a representative of the association, the charity should be, yeah, what they remember you by.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So, yeah, it's a duty of every member of the UNIA to be kind and to carry out that kind spirit. So, not only officers, but particularly officers, and that's why this is so important for us, but we must expect that and instill that through our example into our members. But our members don't know this. They don't, they won't know that this is an expectation. But we must teach that it is an expectation. If we see our members being unkind, we must teach them to be kind and hopefully uh, teach them to understand the benefits of kindness. Any questions on winning mankind by kindness?
I got a comment.
Yes.
Okay. So going back, I'm gonna wrap it all the way around. So from 8 to 10, it talks about us as leaders, dominantly, giving to charitable, being approachable in that sense, um having the sense of humility to be
Mhm,
able to approach each of our members, no matter what situation or what category our members are in. So if we all remember, even if we aren't leaders or we aren't in a sense of leadership, if we remember like the golden rule, as they call it in the general masses way, if we remember to treat each other like how we want to be treated, then we will remember how to be leaders, because in the end of the day, it's about how we treat the next person. And especially as a UNIA leader, you are representing more than just a cause. You're representing more than just yourself. You're
mhm,
representing a whole dynamic. You're representing a whole mindset, because you have to remember we are changing the mindset of the Negro. So
mhm,
it's not about just uh, being of one, being of one essence. It's remembering that you are representing the Senegalese man and woman, the Jamaican man and woman, the Ghanaian man and woman, the Black American man and woman. And President John, you said to question 8, what should every division of the UNIA have in order to do charitable work? You had mentioned that you said that you didn't know that if the Constitution mentioned it or not, but the Constitution mentioned that how we should have like every program for each. Even to our elders, we have an elder committee. So I'm gonna take it. I'm real quick. In like I forgot which studies follows on that. I don't mean to take it to a different dynamic, but he went by Aristotle. And Aristotle made a statement saying that if basically saying, if everybody has a place, then everybody would know their lane. Like everybody knew their lane, then everybody will have a place. Like the reason that we're having so much mishap is because nobody wants to stay in a certain place or a certain lane.
mhm,
So having those programs, just wrap back all around, having those programs being kind, having showing that sophistication, showing that sophistication in these areas will show the leadership and show the advancement that we're trying to not trying, excuse me, that we're in efforts of giving to our African brothers and sisters at home and abroad, because it's like I'm selling the UNIA-ACL myself. I'm that walking statue.
yep,
If I'm not I'm not being of that, then why should I believe in what you're saying? Your clothes aren't clean, your teeth aren't white, your hair isn't groomed.
mm,
Why should I believe anything? And you have a nasty attitude.
mhm,
So
mhm,
why would anybody want to be of something that's already of them? I'm used to a nasty attitude. I'm used to people of nasty character. I'm used to people not caring about their hygiene or how they present. They just wake up and just become every day. Whatever the day leads, that's what they want to be. But
mhm,
that's not the leadership of the UNIACL. When we have structure, when we have a goal, when we have missions, when we have instructions to say, this is what we're going to get up and wear every day. I want my face to look like this. I want my suits and I want my clothes to look like this, because I have the dynamic that we follow. So as long as we continue to be in these guidelines, it's going to sell itself. It's not a hard thought. So that's what I wanted to say. And that wraps up 8 to 10. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for that, Sister Rabbit, and great summary. But reminds us of we got to remember this chart over here on the left, and we should be embodying and mastering each of these lessons. But we talked about Lessons 1 through 7, mastering ourselves, man mastering himself. Lessons 8 through 15, social system, institutions, understanding the community, and the purpose of these different dynamics in the community. Diplomacy, being able to interact, man, the essential components of a society. And now we're going out into the world, and as Sister Ra Ebony said. Kindness is summarizing the embodiment of what we should represent as we're introducing ourselves to the world. I think it was the lesson personality where Mr. Garvey said, our personality should leave people with nothing outside of, nothing, no opinion outside of perfection. And kindness is doubling up on that. If we're kind and people remember us as kind and representable and clean and presentable, I think that was what I was trying to say. That is a good representation of the entire UNIA. And again, that is what we are exemplifying and trying to create. But there must be a start to that. How can people, Mr. Garvey gave us the idea and the inspiration, and now it's our turn to do the same and to continue that legacy in our time. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Sister Raabney. Great analysis. That ends lesson 19, and now we got to do our reading for lesson 20. Do we have any volunteers that can read for us this evening? Share screen.
I'll start.
Desiree, thank you. Thank you.
Lesson 20, living for something. Life is in
One
a
second, since Desiree, hold on.
okay. I'm reading out the book. I'm sorry. I apologize.
That's actually good. That's what we want. So you can do it. I'm just trying to fix my screen for the audience, and I could just have this one screen. Okay. All right, Sister Desiree, you have the floor.
Okay. Lesson 20, living for something. Life is an important function. It was given for the purpose of expression. The flower expresses itself through the beauty of its bloom. The vine expresses itself through its rambling search and settling its own peculiar nature. The tree expresses itself in its smiling green leaves, shaking branches, and sometimes hanging fruit. The lark expresses itself in its laughter and song. The river expresses itself in its gentle meandering unto the sea, and man expresses himself according to the idealistic visions of his nature. There is a scope for each life. Let yours find its scope and fully express itself. Man should have a purpose, and that purpose he should always keep in view with the hope of achieving it to the fullest satisfaction to himself, satisfaction of himself. Be not aimless, drifting and floating with the tide that doesn't go your way. To find your purpose, you must search yourself and with the knowledge of what is good and what is bad. Select your course, steering towards a particular object of your dream or desire. Never enter upon life journey without a program. Simpleton as you may be, you can have a program. No ship ever reaches port without a positive designation beforehand. Otherwise, it will drift on the mighty ocean to be overtaken by the storm or the ill wind that blows. The sensible captain goes to the sea with the chart to map out his course so as to reach his harbor of safety. Your program is your chart through life. Everything you do it by method. Nothing succeeds continuously or repeatedly by chance. You may get success in a particular direction by accident, but it was chiefly because that accident was the correct method in achieving that particular thing, and you happen to have struck upon the right method by chance. By trying chances, that way a second time may bring you failure, as it generally does. To follow the correct method will give you the same results all the time. Therefore, make your life a methical one. A methical one. Rise at a certain hour. Work up to a certain hour. Retire at a certain hour. Do everything on time so that your entire system becomes methical. If you have something to do and it ought to be done, do it with proper method or system to get the best results. Study it first, then go after doing it. If a thing is worthwhile doing, it is worthwhile doing well. How pitiful how pitiful it is to see a man living without a program, not knowing how he is going to use his todays and tomorrows. If you follow him long enough, you will find him going down the ditch of failure because he has been traveling without a program. Observe the other man who has his program and see him go from one step to the next with success. If you have a program, you know what comes next. If you have none, you have to improvise one, and then it's too late to do it properly, and so you fail. If you want to be 5,000 miles away in December and it costs 500, to avoid being disappointed at the last moment, start in January to think about your trip and make arrangements for it so that when the time comes, you will be perfectly ready. Make this a practice in everything. Don't wait until the time arrives. Think ahead. Always try to look beyond the present by calling upon your past experience when you're looking at the future. Analyze it, arrange it to suit your needs so that when things come upon you, you will be ready. Don't let things come upon you suddenly. The man who lives in the present, preparing for the future, always enjoys a better future than a man who doesn't visualize it. But who goes right into it unprepared? But he who goes right into it unprepared. Seeing the future and preparing for it is a worthy object. Always try to look into the future. You make slight mistake here and there, but if you gauge it properly with the experience of the past and the conditions of the present, you may strike an even and accurate estimate of what it ought to be, so that when it comes, you will be able to welcome it with some kind of satisfaction. To live for something doesn't only mean something for yourself, but something for your Keith and kin, and something for your race. If a father lives for something, he ought to be able to see his children through that something, so that what he does not accomplish for himself might be accomplished for his children. For instance, an industrious father lives with the hope of improving his social and economic condition. He would like to live in a beautiful mansion on a hill from which he can see the country places around, the valleys, dales, and the lofty mountains. But if he is working in the valley, living in a small, okay, wait a minute. But if he is working in the valley, living in a small cottage, he is growing older without his dreams realized. But if he looks to his son and says, if I cannot enjoy this desire of mine because I may be too old when the time comes, I shall make it possible for my son or my grandson to live on that hilltop. That is living in the future. The living for something. That is living for something. When the old man dies, the son inherits, and when the son dies, the grandson inherits. Inherits what? That which the grandfather lived for. This should be the policy of every Negro, to live for something to hand down to a son or a grandson so they may have life a little easier than their fathers before them. That's generational wealth, right? This is the way successful and great families have come into the world, and great races too. No Negro should be objectless or purposeless in life. Always have a purpose. To waste time in non-essentials is to be purposeless. Playing bone dice is purposeless. There is nothing achieved in the time wasted in doing it. No great fortune is guaranteed. No great art is accomplished. No structure is built because it is a game of chance. Playing pool is a waste because, like playing the dice, it is a game of chance. Sitting around and going from place to place without an occupation is waste. Valuable time is gone and nothing is being registered by way of achievement. When one settles down upon a given and worthy idea or occupation, such as an engineer, architect, builder, farmer, poet, or a teacher, he or she is working on something that may become tangible in results. It is from such tangible assets that we build fortunes. Find something tangible to do and use your time in doing it well. It is better that you be dead than having no purpose in life. Ella Willer Wilcox says, have a purpose, and that purpose keep in view. For drifting like a hemless vessel, thou canst never be true self, be true. The ship without a helm must founder on the rock. Why be a ship? Why not sail through life like the bark whose whelm is perfect? Be a captain with a chart in hand, seeing his port as he sails steadily on. See your port. Visualize it as the time comes. Anchor in it. All right, next.
Thank you, Sister Desiree. I'll finish up. The dignity and pride of race. God made man as a complete and finished being. There are no flaws in him but his sin. The race of man, therefore, must be perfect in its physical origin. Hence, there is nothing to be ashamed of as far as species is concerned. The black man's origin is as true as the sun. He need not, therefore, apologize for his existence. His place in the world is fixed as a star, and as such, it is incumbent upon him to maintain the dignity and pride of his own manhood. There is nothing unusual about the Negro other than he is himself as man sick. He is beautiful in himself, and why not so? The Anglo-Saxon sees beauty through himself. The Teuton sees beauty through himself. The Mongol sees beauty through himself. And so naturally and logically, the Negro ought to see beauty through himself. When the Negro attempts to see beauty through the aquiline features of the Anglo-Saxon, then he images the homeliness and ugliness of his own features because his features are different from those of the Anglo-Saxon. Beauty must be reflected out of your own eyes. A Negro must be beautiful to a Negro. An Anglo-Saxon is to an Anglo-Saxon, or as an Anglo-Saxon is to an Anglo-Saxon. The highest standard of beauty, therefore, for a Negro is the Negro. Never allow any race to say that your race is not beautiful. If there's ugliness in a race, it is in the other race, not in yours, because the other race looks different to you. The Anglo-Saxon, the Mongol, To the Anglo-Saxon, the Mongol is ugly. To the Mongol, the Anglo-Saxon is ugly. Compare the Anglo-Saxon and the Negro. It is the Anglo-Saxon who is ugly, not the Negro. The long, sharp nose of the European cannot be considered beautiful against a strong, healthy, air-free nasal passage of the black man who is free from those nasal defects that make health difficult. The thin lips of the European cannot be beautiful compared with the strong, healthy, and developed lips of the African. These are the ways of self-respecting people. These are the ways the self-respecting people see themselves. The round, healthy face of the African is much more beautiful than the straight, sickly-looking face of the European. Then why surrender all that is good in you and discount it for that which doesn't reach a standard comparable to yours and others? Always think yourself a perfect being and be satisfied with yourself unless you are a jellyfish. Never allow anyone to conceive you of your inferiority, no, to convince you of your inferiority as a man. Rise in your dignity to justify all that is noble in your manhood as a race. My race is mine and it belong my race is mine and I belong to it. It climbs with me and I shall climb with it. My pride is mine and I shall surely honor it. It is the height on which I sit daily. We got any volunteers that can finish out with social confusion?
That's deep. Marcus Garvey is the man.
I can help out.
Thank you, Attorney Motep.
The social confusion. Man at his best in his society is always quarreling. He is never satisfied. Don't believe that you will find in your lifetime the solution for all his problems and ills. Attend only to those that concern you and your group. If you can solve your own group's problems in your community, you have done well. Let others solve theirs. The time you waste running around with others and helping them in their problems, you are robbing your group of that much time to help them solve their problems. Whether a man is sober or drunk, he is a disagreeable beast. You will find it so in every community. So search for your man and tame the beast. He is never of the same mood all the time. At one time, you think you can like him. At another time, you think you could kill him. Tame him towards the end of your own social satisfaction. For dabbling in the confusion of others will only make you more confused, and your divided energy will only tend to defeat the special purpose which you should have in solving the problems of your race. Never forget that all other groups in the society of your community are looking after their own individual group interests. And your interests, except from the community point of view, is never theirs. Therefore, their interests should never be yours. As far as the particular group interests are concerned, don't be disappointed if other groups shock you by their behavior, because man is made that way. He acts that way chiefly because he is racially different. The white man may compliment you today and abuse you tomorrow, simply because of your race. Don't trust the whole community then, if it is made up of different people, because it is apt to disappoint you by being selfish at any moment as far as the division of particular interests is concerned. Always pick out your interest in the community and conserve it because others are doing the same. It is only when you tread on the heels of others by accident that you find out that there are differences between you and others. Your mistake doesn't prove a fact. The fact was there before your mistake. It is always a fact that each group has its own individual and collective racial problems. The white man can never be a Negro, and the Negro can never be a white man, except after eternity, and you do not live that long. You may be the same in soul, but you cannot see a soul. So the similarity is beyond you. What you see is yourself physically, and there is no doubt that there are physical differences between you and the other man. So watch your step in the social confusion of life. Always remember that another person is not you, for that other person knows too well that you are different from him. He is always on guard to divide the line of interest. This applies everywhere. This applies everywhere, all around. In your home, office, workshop, in the streets, and in the community. Your wife will grab the article and say, "This is mine," and refuse to give it up, although you thought you were one and what was yours was hers and hers yours. She always has a time to claim her own, either in peace or confusion. So always have your own in the social confusion of life, because even you and your partner may have to run in different directions to save your skins. If a person is gone with what is yours in another direction, you may lose your life following what you should have been carrying with you. Never forget that. Never forget this. It is of great importance to you for your own safety. You should always have your own fare to pay the conductor. You may have to walk while the other person rides, because you can never tell where confusion will spring up. It may be in the streets near the neighborhood. It may be 100 miles from town, and it will be a long walk if the car moves off because of the confusion between you and the driver. Always expect confusion in the dividing line in the social contact of life.
Thank you, Attorney Imhotep. Thank you, Sister Desiree. That completes lesson 21, living for something. Next week, we'll go through some questions on that lesson, very important lesson. Uh, capstone, in addition to winning mankind by kindness, as to how we carry ourselves as leaders in the UNIA, and specifically why we must carry on the work of the UNIA. But um, we'll talk about that more in detail next week, and we'll try to read all of lesson 21. I had this scheduled for 2 separate weeks, but we are a week behind. We'll try to read all of lesson 21 next week as well. Any questions or comments on anything that we read tonight? Again, the main topic was living for something.
Does anybody else get like teary-eyed when we read what Marcus Garvey wrote in the Message to the People? Does anybody get a little emotional? I'm just saying, because like some of the stuff that he writes, it really hits my spirit, and like you just want to cry, like you know.
Conviction is the word that comes to my mind. I get convicted. I get re-energized, rededicated. But a re-emphasis of seriousness is what I take away from it personally. Anyone else?
I do at times, but not cry though. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get the feeling that he did so much when he had so little to work with, and that we can do so much more today because we have so much more to work with.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I leave with every time we go through these amazing lessons.
Yes. Yep. Yes. Reminder, reestablishing what we should be doing. And any other questions, comments? 20 off, it's almost close to 20 after 10, a little bit late. Okay. All right, we will get ready to close out.
I just wanted to keep quick things if I can.
Yes, sir.
One is as one of those who didn't get a chance to look in the chat room, dealing with the last lesson we just had and appreciating your own beauty. If you can see how the picture I posted in there of a lion, a beautiful lion that has his own natural mane and his own fur, his majestic build, trying to put on a wig to make himself look pretty. If you see how
Yeah, I
ridiculous,
saw that wig.
if you see how absolutely ridiculous that looks, we can imagine how some of us see brothers and sisters who try to augment their natural beauty, their unadulterated beauty, by trying to, taint it and distort it and look like some other group on the planet that, is an abomination, So we got to have love and pride and appreciation for our own, natural endowments. And if we don't, we're doomed, from the beginning. And I also wanted to mention too, quickly that I posted the event because I miss you all so much in Atlanta. Some of you I never met. That I figured I had to come down there next week for an event that's going to be at Big Bethel.
It's in 2 weeks, ain't it? It's in 2 weeks.
It's going to be on the 25th.
Yeah.
So today is what the
11.
well, yeah, 2 weeks, right, about 2 weeks, right. Yeah. So that's a Wednesday, right?
I gotta look. 25th. I can't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice event. It's going to be, a lot of the Jamaican community coming out. The ambassador from Jamaica, the consul, I think, coming up from Florida, and CNN posted it on their website, which I sent the link to the chat. But it's going to be, a lot of, fanfare. The plaque that was actually um, originally supposed to have went up last year when we went there for the celebration. Wasn't put up at that time, so now it's finally going to get placed. The plaque noting Mr. Garvey's visit to those hollowed halls. So we're going to celebrate that, and the Stephen Golden is coming up from Jamaica, the first assistant president general, and I'll be coming down, and whoever else. Did anyone invite you to participate on any level, President Hargrove?
Let's see. Yeah, right. Ebony had
Okay.
mentioned to us.
Well, you in the house. We ain't gonna pass you over by any means. So definitely whoever can come through, show some love. I'll be in the house, and I think they're trying to do some kind of after party. The brother who's in that film, the Mosiah film, the
Emily.
short film on Amazon, it's going to be there also. It's going to be a showing of the film, but it's going to be, brother Sam Lee Fudge is going to be there. So we trying to groom him to do some other work with the UNIA over the next year or two to help promote the word. So anyway, some good vibes, good energy, some good presence. So if y'all happen to be available on the 25th, don't meet me there, beat me there.
Yes, sir. We plan to be in attendance. We'll talk about that more as an executive body as well. We attended last year, and we do plan to attend again this year.
Oh, great, great, great. Well, that would be nice. I look forward to it.
Yes.
That's all. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Brother Moyamau, for that reminder. Any other closing questions, comments?
What's the investment for the event, the one on the 25th that we just discussed?
What do you mean investment?
I think originally when Ebony sent us something, it had pricing on there, didn't it?
Oh, that was I think they were looking for like support and sponsoring, different levels of sponsoring. We're not, but it's a free event. We haven't committed to any level of sponsoring.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments? Close to 10:30. I know some of us got to get up in the morning. All right, brothers and sisters. Brother Eric, are you available? Is he still there? Can you close us out as our third vice president? All right. All right. Brother Eric is tied up. Sister Cecily, First Lady, Vice President, you want to close us out?
Okay, family, everybody, come off mute. Put your black fist in the air and repeat after me, please. One God,
One God,
one aim,
One
one
one destiny.
one
destiny.
destiny.
Africa for the Africans.
Africa
For
for
the
the
African.
Africans.
Those at home
Those
Those at
at home
home
and those abroad.
and
those
those
abroad.
abroad.
Grace first, family.
Grace
Grace
first.
first. Peace and love, family.
Peace and love.